Hi, this is Ed, and thank you for stopping again and having a look at Ed August books. So, what I'm theorizing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through about 150 or 200 boxes of books and show you things that I think are interesting. They all have some collectability, some interesting points to them, although I don't really know exactly what they are. For example, here's a book called Inspector Saito's Small Satori. As you know, Satori is a Buddhist line actually, so this has something to do with that. Now you'd think that it's an Asian book cover, it's got a satori in it where people are trying to be perfect, but here's the guy on the cover who's smoking a cigarette. I always thought that why do they have him smoking a cigarette on there? I don't know. So this one is by this author Jan Willem van der Wettering. There's more about this on. There will be more about this on my phone line. Here's an oddity. Here's Newt Gingrich. You know Newt Gingrich, and this is his bedtime stories for orphans. And here he is in bed with a couple kids peeking around the corner. It seems to be kind of almost in bad taste. It's as overheard by Kathy Crimmins and Tom Meter. So this is from the late 90s, actually, I believe, when he was much more in the news, than he is now. And let's just keep looking at some of these. The Black Douglas. I'm not sure what this is. This is a creature here. I don't know what the Black Douglas is. It's a book by S.R. Crockett. It looks like about 1900, doesn't it? When you look at these old books, you start seeing after a while. No, I was off. It's copyright 1899, so we're 1 year off on that by the Manhattan Press. The Black Douglas rides home, my fair lady, two riding together, the rose red pavilion, the witch woman. So it's some interesting stuff. I'm not exactly sure, but here's a drawing that goes with it. And at the last he sailed over the seas to his own land. It's by Doubleday and McClure, 1902, by Crockett. So we'll have to have a look at that one also and see what it is. Naskapi, Naskapi, the savage hunters of the Labrador Peninsula. So this is up in the eastern part of Canada. And I believe there was something interesting and very engaging about this book. Oh, it does have photographs of some of the tools and other things, that they do there. If you look up NASCAPI, you can find out a lot of stuff. This one has chapters such as concepts of mythology and the universe, right? So different ideas there from the residents on all kinds of interesting philosophical matters. Sinners Beware by E. Phillips Oppenheim. I've seen E. Phillips Oppenheim before. He's generally a writer of mysteries and, just some stories that kind of grab you. Let's see. Somebody put a photocopy of the inside of the dust jacket in there. The book looks like it has a little, to worry about in terms of condition. It came out Little Brown and Company, Boston, 1932. Sinners Beware. We'll have to find out more about that. I'm sure we can easily find out about that book if we start looking. Here is Stargazers. Ooh, what's that about? Stargazers. Nice copy here. It was from the Carnegie Free Library at one point. The Stargazers, concerning Eleanor Erne. I don't see immediately something that tells me what the book is about. This was copyright 1910, Scribner's. It was published September 1910, so this looks like it's got to be a first edition. There is a nice antique look for. I put on a white pongi dress and a duck of a natier blue straw hat. Well, that I hardly even understand what that's about. We'd have to look and see how serious this is. Why would they call the book The Stargazers unless it had something about astrology in it? The weight of the evidence, the Warren Report and its critics. There are a lot of people that have criticized the Warren Report, which was done after the assassination of Kennedy, of course. Took them years to do it, and I'm not exactly sure. Meredith Press, New York. When did this come out? 1968, first edition. So it's a first edition. This book may have some value. I mean, like I had a price on here of $20, so it's got a nice dust jacket on it. You can kind of see. Some of these books are collectible. They're just downright collectible. Others, you sort of wonder. Nine Planets by Norse, Nourse, by Harper. And is this really about 9 planets? Or is it something else? Well, this says, Alan E. Norse, Paintings by Mel Hunter. This is by an author who did books like So You Want to Be a Doctor, So You Want to Be a Scientist, So You Want to Be a Lawyer. So I don't know, maybe this has something to do with... Oh, okay. Air current patterns on Mars. So this has something to do with situation on the 9 planets as they compare them to Earth. The atmospheres of Earth and Mars. I just happened to pick a chapter that has most... Oh, look at that. There's Jupiter, I guess, on the left. No, it says view of Saturn as seen from Mimas, M-A-M-I-S. Pluto, the dark planet, seen by reflected highlight only. These books have come up in knowledge and value over the last 10 or 20 years as these subjects of the planets in our solar system have become more interesting and entertaining. But to find out what that book is priced at. I hope I'll be able to get through all of these on this show. The Wonders of Life by Ernest Haeckel, Haeckel. Somebody tried to... Okay, so this was at one time, perhaps in the library, somebody's library. A Popular Study of Biological Philosophy. I'm not sure what biological philosophy is. So, this is a supplementary volume to, quote, The Riddle of the Universe. Harper, 1905. The Wonders of Life. Well, biological philosophy. Do you have are you familiar with the concept of a philosophy of life having to do with human or animalistic or Earth-like biology? So this would be something to look at and see how seriously you take it. So Sorry, No Peace. Royal Arch Gunnison. Okay, Royal Arch Gunnison is the author. From his first-hand experience of Jap warfare, Jap prisons, and Jap mentality, fresh insight into what lies ahead in the East. He's calling them Japs, so this might have been printed while the war was still going on. Otherwise, they would have been kind enough to call it Japanese rather than Jap. So let's see what this edition is produced in full compliance with all War Production Board conservation orders. I was right. Copyright 1944 by Royal Arch Gunnison. So what is this book about, though? Sorry, No Peace. It's a commission having to do with finding peace, establishing peace between, the Allies and the Japanese. Royal Arch Gunnison is now radio news analyst for the Mutual Broadcasting System. Before the air is out, he will be once again in the Southwest Pacific with General MacArthur and in the China-Burma-India War Theater with General Chennault's 14th Air Force as Collier's Far East correspondent. So he's like a correspondent having to do with the last 2 years of the Second World War. Let's see what else we got. Oh, look at this one. Is Leonardo da Vinci. This is an exhibit of Da Vinci's at the Los Angeles County Museum. I don't know who put this on. We can probably tell when we get into this a little bit more. Leonardo da Vinci loan exhibit. It's a loan exhibition. He lived from 1452 to 1519, and this was in the County Museum, June 3rd to July 17th, 1949. So this was way back in the 40s. This catalog has been prepared in collaboration with so-and-so, the assistants of so-and-so, the names that are, part of this cabinet. And if we look in here, I bet we're going to see some beautiful pictures, but there's a lot of descriptions too. Okay, why is it going right over? Is it not going to want to show me descriptions? Oh, maybe they're back here. Oh, okay, that's how this works. Maybe zoom in a little bit and we can see these are the kinds of pictures. A lot of them have to do with Jesus and Mary, the Holy Family, and stuff like that, which was very big back at that time. There's Leonardo da Vinci. I think this is a famous one where he's pointing up like that. And people wonder that it looks sort of male, looks sort of female. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on here. So, very interesting book. It explains itself. So this is the display that they had at the LA County Museum back in 1949. Just a few more books to go. Lawrence in Arabia, not Lawrence of Arabia, but Lawrence in Arabia. War, Deceit, Imperial Folly, and the Making of the Modern Middle East. This is by Scott Anderson, and evidently he's going through the war, or the lack of the war, whatever. Oh, here's some characters. King Hussein, and down here is Ronald Storrs, the liaison in the secret negotiations between Hussein and the British, and the man who brought T.E. Lawrence into the Arab revolt. So there's some good history here, history having to do with the whole setup of Lawrence of Arabia. What was this one hiding? This one was the evolution of Prussia. Okay, so Prussia turned into more modern-day Germany. It was kind of like the most uptight and part of Germany throughout the early 19th and 20th century. It's a historical piece. I don't know what to say about it, but the book is in beautiful condition. It was printed by Oxford, so we can find out more. We can find out more about any of these books. Hey, near the end here, The Early Mesoamerican Village, edited by Kent V. Flannery, and it's studies in archaeology. And this would have been used by students of this is fascinating. Look at all that. It shows where they found things, out in the wild, on the beaches and whatnot, and linked them back to the Indian tribes, to the native tribes. Excavating a shallow community by random sampling quadrants. Okay, so they're excavating shallow communities that I guess have been turned off. So it has to do with the native Americans or Canadians, I guess in this case, and all kinds of evidence that they left behind. It's kind of fascinating. This is what they do in university. And finally, Best Editorial Cartoons of the Year, 1994 edition. I think this sustain will come right off here. Edited by Charles Brooks, and it's just fun stuff. Here's not Trump, Clinton. This is Clinton, and this looks like Hillary Clinton looking over his shoulder at the desk. And this guy here says, it still unnerves me a bit, but, so they're making fun a little bit that Hillary is so much into her husband's work. Best Editorial Cartoon. Okay, what is this? An elephant? Elephants representing the GOP in bed with Clinton, it looks like. The Morning NAFTA. So what is this here? Oh, okay, so it's like cartoon after cartoon after cartoon. Well, that was Clinton with his musical instruments there, because he plays musical instruments. Or he was known for that. So this might be a fun book. It'll be what was humorous about politics in the United States back in the 1990s, really, during the time that this guy was president. And have a look on my site. It's going to be easy to find where the books are priced and described better. And, I'm here to do some business with these books. So let me know if there's anything that you've seen that you like. Okay? And thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.